Central swathe of the UK, bringing some sunshine to start the weekend. But notice those blue colours indicating whether there's going to be a harsh frost to start the day. So certainly a chilly start, but some good weather to be getting out and about in. Some sunshine developing through the day quite widely. It's cloudier skies across eastern areas of England all the while, where we do have a risk of showers. Some of these sleety across more coastal areas, but for most of us we should stay dry. It's going to be another chilly day though, temperatures quite widely just 2 or 3 degrees. Now, as the next batch of rain bumps into that cold air, there's a risk of some quite widespread snow for a time on Saturday night, but that will quite quickly turn to rain through the course of Sunday morning. So we could see around 10 centimetres across many northern areas, but then a risk of flooding as we head into the latter part of Sunday and into next week. It remains windy.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News every week.
You're not only watching and listening to our programmes, you're becoming part of them too.
Good evening, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A90 southbound between Mill Timber and Clean Hill roundabout, a road traffic incident is partially blocking the carriageway. In Powys, the A458 is affected in both directions through Welshpool, with an incident on Church Street at the Cross and local diversions in place. In North Lincolnshire, the M180 eastbound between Junction 3 and Junction 4 has lane closures for road management expected to ease after 8:15 this evening. And on the trains, West Midlands Railway has no service, and Avanti West Coast says Storm Goretti is impacting journeys. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's a brand new year and we're giving you the chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. And we've come to the Aurora Collection Resort here in Lapland to celebrate. An incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. Tonight on the show we have Bill Rammell. He's going head-to-head with Emma Wolf. We've also got pub landlord Guy Richardson and former Strictly star AJ Pritchard. But first, let's go to the news.
Good evening. Your headlines at 7 o'clock. Storm Gretty continues to batter the UK, with tens of thousands of Britons across the country facing widespread power cuts and travel disruption. New snow and ice warnings are issued ahead of the weekend, covering most of Scotland, Northern Ireland and parts of England. More protests have erupted in Iran today as the country's supreme leader accused the crowds of trying to please US President Trump. The US president says he'll hit Iran very hard if they start killing protesters. At least 62 people have been killed since the demonstrations began, according to local media reports. Internet and phone lines have been shut off and flights have been cancelled. In other news, UK Defence Secretary John Healey has held meetings with Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine today after Russia fired hypersonic missiles at targets in Ukraine near the EU and NATO border. Zelensky thanked the UK for its readiness to help. Speaking after the meeting, Mr Healey said it's now down to the US President Donald Trump to stop the Russian attacks. And Nigel Farage has criticised the threat to block the UK's access to Elon Musk's social media site X over concerns about Grok's deep fakes. It came after Downing Street called changes to chatbot Grok insulting to victims of misogyny and sexual violence. The social media site faced a backlash after reports that users of its AI chatbot had prompted it to create sexualised images of people, including children. Technology Secretary Liz Kendall said she would back Ofcom to effectively block X if it fails to comply with UK law. But the Reform UK leader has said it's appalling.
The thought of banning X from a government that's been attacking free speech and creating a two-tier society in our country, frankly, is appalling. Look, this feature clearly is horrible in every way, distasteful, sick. I get all of that. I know that X today have made some changes to say only paying subscribers can use the service. X will need to go further, but the thought of banning platforms, I mean, what is happening in 21st century Britain?
Those are the latest GB News headlines. I'll have more for you in an hour.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. I'm Lee Anderson, Reform UK Member of Parliament for Ashfield, and he's back, our left in the corner, Bill Rammell. Happy New Year, young man.
Happy New Year to you.
And we've also got broadcaster and author and just nice lady, Emma Wolf. Thanks for coming back on the show for about the 20th time. Look, this week, guys, in a Home Affairs Select Committee, it's actually a committee I was on. You know all about these, Bill. We saw the West Midlands Police Chief, Craig Guilford, squirming in his chair. Just have a look at this clip before we go on.
Why are we only hearing about this now? Why is it that a report has come at lunchtime today from the Times newspaper that you had information on the 5th of September that there were likely to be vigilante groups within the West Midlands community itself who were planning to take action against the Maccabi fans? How is it that this committee is just hearing this for the first time?
Well, I think this is the first time specifically that you've asked for that detail. Well, that's what we tried. That's what we tried to get across.
Absolutely outrageous.
So, Bill, you've probably been on select committees in the past. He was squirming. It looks like guilt's written all over his face. Should the Home Secretary now be calling for his resignation?
Not yet, but we may come to that. And let me explain why. I think this case raises enormous concerns. You know, the police have many duties. One of them is allowing opposing fans to peacefully attend a football match. I've been attending matches since I was 11. They separate home and away fans. I do not understand why the police took the decision to ban the Israeli fans. And you know, there's a separation between political oversight and operational judgments. And this was an operational police decision. And yet, the so-called Safety Advisory Committee in Birmingham got heavily involved, had two clearly partisan councillors on it who were massively lobbying for the away fans to be banned. That blurred the distinction between oversight and operational matters, and I think it was wrong. The Home Secretary has referred this matter and instructed the HMIC, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, to investigate the intelligence that was used to reach this decision. And I think that's the right thing to have done. In terms of should she at the moment call for his resignation. I think that would be premature, and you know, she's not a rent-a-gob calling willy-nilly for chief constables to be sacked. And in fact, the decision to remove a chief constable is not hers. It rests with the Police and Crime Commissioner. The only circumstances in which she can intervene is for national security and for massive loss of public confidence. We may get there, but she needs to involve HMRC.
She could, in my opinion, show some sort of leadership or opinion on this matter.
She has been curiously silent on this, and actually the right thing right now would be for Guildford himself to, you know, have some sense of moral duty and to, I think, resign. Kemi Badenoch has talked about his position being untenable. Clearly, a chief constable in these kind of politically sensitive times has a really difficult decision. There are tough decisions to be made. But if he didn't understand the context of this, if he wasn't able to take the right advice, if he wasn't able to weigh up the evidence, some of which looks quite dodgy, and there are questions around the information that was supplied to Parliament, if Guildford is not able to make those decisions, then he shouldn't be in the job. He should be, you know, a rank and file officer. He shouldn't be making those decisions around it. The police's job, clearly, is to protect a minority community. It's not that they should be cracking down on any violent or threatening behaviour, any violent or threatening actions. I think that
But Emma, it's not that they didn't protect a small section of our society. They actually blamed them.
They blamed them, they banned them, and it has been an awful, awful time. This is why I talk about the political context, the sensitivity around this. This isn't just any football match. Okay, this was weeks. This was November 2025, weeks after the Manchester synagogue events. And if Craig Guildford cannot understand that, then I'm afraid he shouldn't be in charge. He should not have been in charge, and the Home Secretary has to be accountable
But
for
of course, Bill, this sort of opens up a wider debate about policing in our country. We've seen it in the past with the Pakistani rape gangs in the northern and Midland towns, where sometimes the police have been very, very reluctant to carry out these investigations and get to the bottom of these horrendous crimes, because they're frit, I think, of upsetting one section of our society.
I don't think that's accurate. In respect of the grooming gangs, there's a public inquiry, and officials across the board were too reticent.
Why is there a public inquiry, though, Bill? There's a public inquiry because there's been a cover-up. And the police, the social services, some schools and other members of the community have been involved in this cover-up.
I'm not convinced of that. What there has been evidence of is investigations not taking place because of based on fear of upsetting people because of the ethnic backgrounds. And Keir Starmer was one of the first people to call that out when he was Director of Public Prosecutions.
If information is known, and this was going on for years and years, decades in fact, that is a cover-up. You are covering up information where people should have been stopped, they should have been arrested and prosecuted. It's so clear because of over-concern about ethnic sensitivities, about local community relations. That is a scandal. It's absolutely shameful.
It's a scandal, Bill.
That is a cover-up.
And that is why there is a public inquiry and a whole raft of other changes to tackle abuse. Once they've made a decision, and we do live in very polarised times, very politicised times, but once they've made a decision, they seem to dig in and defend it, come what may, and regardless of the evidence. And to me, that's where this Chief Constable is lacking in terms of the evidence that he's given to the various committees this week.
But we know it's been an awful few years, actually, for Jews in this country.
Terrible.
And we should all hang our heads in shame. And why did they not matter? Why were the police not able to think about the fans who wanted to be at that football match? Why on earth were they not interested in protecting those, minority communities?
And what is done?
It's been a frightening, hostile time.
What Craig Guildford has done, Emma, is given in and basically took a steer from the Islamists in Birmingham, the trouble causers, the very people that wanted to do harm to Jewish football fans.
Either, and the alternatives are not good, either because they were more important or because he was just frightened of them.
Yeah.
And either alternative is actually really alarming if that's how our policing is going to go.
It's terrible.
That's why I say Guildford himself should actually resign.
But I actually don't think it reached his desk. I don't think he was involved in the operational decision.
Surely you're not defending him, Bill.
No, I'm not defending him, but I'm trying to explain what actually I think happened. What he's doing now, however, is he's responsible for those decisions that have been taken, and he's not able
But you saw
to
the clip
adequately
earlier.
explain.
You saw the clip earlier, Bill, from the Home Affairs Select Committee.
yeah.
Did it look like to you that he was being entirely honest?
He was really struggling to defend the processes and actions that had been taken. And the fact that the Home Secretary has instructed HMIC to investigate the intelligence on which the decisions were taken, I think is very significant. And that may lead ultimately to his removal. But we're not there yet.
I think the very least he could do, Emma, at the moment is step back from frontline duties, go and have a rest somewhere.
Well, I actually think that the very least he could do is actually resign.
Well,
because if Bill is correct, if it didn't come across his desk, there's a reason why you're a chief constable. There's a reason why you're paid a lot of money.
But
it's
what?
about responsibility. It's about accountability.
How have we got into this situation?
To say that such a major decision was made and he wasn't aware of it, or he
How,
wasn't
though,
involved?
Emma, have we got into a situation in this country where our police are so weak and pandering to certain sections of society?
How on earth has this happened? Exactly. How on earth have we had protests, a weekend of endless protests, weekend protests with the pro-Palestine action in London, for example? You know, in fact, it's been going on for years now, where police are saying to Jewish people, you know, you better not, don't be openly Jewish in public. It's not safe.
Yeah, cover that flag up.
Cover that flag up. Don't wear your yarmulke.
And that is fundamentally...
Don't come into central London.
And that is fundamentally wrong. But in respect of the Jewish community, I think it's significant that the major Jewish leader within Birmingham, whilst she is critical of the decisions that were taken around this football match, she actually says that the support from the police since the synagogue murders has been very welcome and very supportive. So it's not...
But that's the job, Bill.
Yeah, of course it is. But I'm just giving some balance that, you know, they have taken actions to support the Jewish community. However, in respect of this decision, on the face of it, to me, it was wholly wrong. They reached the wrong judgments, the wrong conclusions. They allowed partisan politicians to lobby and influence the decision was taken. And the Chief Constable at the Select Committee hearing this week frankly made a dog's breakfast of explaining and defending
And that's why
what happened.
he should resign. Isn't policing, Lee, meant to be without fear or favour?
Well, it's definitely in favour. This sort of police in the West Midlands. In favour of whom, though, Emma?
In favour of the Islamists.
Islamists, Bill.
No, I don't think it's as clear-cut as that.
Well, it is, Bill.
We've got extreme polarisation, and I think the police have to make difficult judgments. Sometimes, and I think this is a case of it, they get those wrong, and where that happens, they should be held account. And there's a process to be gone through to hold the Chief Constable to account.
They have banned Jewish football fans from a football game and then blame the same Jewish fans for being banned. You couldn't make this stuff up.
To me, Lee, this is absolutely clear anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
End of.
Anti-Semitism, Bill.
I'm not convinced it's anti-Semitism, but clearly I think they reached the wrong decision as a result of listening to political lobbying and persuasion. How they got this evidence from the Dutch authorities that the Dutch have now repudiated is beyond me. They reached the wrong decision, and they're now trying to,
But of course,
defend the
Emma, I
indefensible.
mean, I think it was last year, actually, when we were having the odd riots in the cities, I think the police in the West Midlands were advising the young Muslim males, it was, on the streets who were carrying weapons. They're advising them to hand them into the local mosque.
Advising them?
Yeah.
Why are they not going in there with force and removing them?
A good question, Bill.
I don't
Why aren't they
understand.
doing this? Can you remember this, Bill, from last year when they was advising certain sections of the community to hand their machetes, knives, axes in at the local mosque?
No, I genuinely don't remember that. But if that did happen, that's totally wrong. Anyone on the streets carrying a weapon that can harm, damage and kill someone, the police should intervene.
So you can see, Emma, can't you, why people are losing trust with our police force.
Of course, and that's the wider context, Lee. This is it. Really, we've already lost so much. I mean, women have lost faith in the police.
Yeah.
We've seen, you know, record high levels of rapes and sexual assaults not investigated. But just in general, in terms of public safety and public order, people are losing confidence in the police. And when the confidence and trust, when trust in the police is undermined in this way, you know, where do we go from there?
And what sort of message does it send out, Bill, to young people wanting to join the police force, this?
Well, it's not great. But look, I'll tell you this, Lee. I've been around politics. I've been around demonstrations and protests since my late teens. And the police have always come in for criticism from both the left and the right. In my experience, they're not politicised. They don't take political decisions, but often they get the judgments wrong. And I think they've got the judgment wrong in this case.
I can remember the police bill in
account.
1984 being very politicised when they went into the onto the picket lines during the miners' strike in Orgreave, where they battered the miners with their big sticks and their truncheons. And I remember all that, Bill. So they was deeply politicised back in 1984. You can debate the rights and wrongs of that all day long. But thanks, guys. Healthy debate. More of this later in Right versus Left. But coming up next, we've got Real People, Real World with pub landlord Guy Richardson. West Midlands Police have previously said a huge amount of planning went into the operation with the aim of preventing crime and disorder and disruption to the game and keeping everyone safe. The operation achieved its aims of keeping everyone in attendance safe, and this is down to the hard work of all the officers and staff from West Midlands Police and other forces around the country. Our work to listen to the concerns of Birmingham will continue, and we remain proud to serve such a diverse region.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
It's time for Real World, Real People. I've got pub landlord Guy Richardson here. Where's your pub, Guy?
Peters Green, a little place sort of tucked between St Albans and Luton.
And what's it called?
The Bright Star.
Now, the hospitality industry, including pubs, has gone through a bit of a rough time since this Labour government came into power about 18 months ago, although Rachel Reeves would probably argue that the Labour government inherited a massive black hole, and they've got to plug the finances somewhere, so they've got to claw the money back from somewhere. But tell me, how is it impacting your business, Guy?
It's impacting because it's all well and good trying to claw it back from somewhere, but we have no pockets particularly to claw it back from these days. It's getting tougher and tougher from every single angle.
During COVID, you had a little bit of help, well, a lot of help with the furlough, the business support grants, and I suppose a big help was the reduction in business rates. But that's come back now. We've lost that reduction. How's that affecting your business?
It affects us to the tune that we didn't fall back on furlough through COVID. We certainly had some help with the grants and whatnot, which was great, to be perfectly honest. The business rates now, with the change, is that with the increase, there is no fat to pull from now. There is. And
what is the increase, Guy?
For me,
yeah.
For me, it won't be up to, well, it won't be a lot by comparison with a lot of the people. So to me, it'll be about £6,000.
£6,000. You've got to sell a lot of beer to claw that back.
A lot of beer. A lot of beer.
And then on top of that, we've had the national insurance, employers' contributions. There's a rise in the minimum wage. There's the Employment Rights Bill. There'll soon be an Act of Parliament. All these sort of things are chipping away at the hospitality industry.
It's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. So if you've got Rachel Reeves sat here right now, what would you say to her?
I would say to her, grab your team, go out and see what it's really like out there. It's no. There's not a crock of gold at the end of the pub rainbow, that's for sure. Just go out and see exactly what it's like and talk to the people that use the pubs or would like to use the pubs. Talk to the people that work in the pubs. We've got a lot of young people that it's a big deal for their own progression. Just so they're coming away, certainly the sort of the young people that grew up through COVID and through this sort of, they were tucked away right away through for a year or two. They come into pubs and they're learning what it's like to talk to people, to deal with the real world.
Well, it is the real world. The pubs are the real world, and I like to contribute to my local economy when I get home at the weekend. I like to go in my local pubs and talk to people, and we always say that every pub's a parliament. People like to go in there, and when you go into a pub, there'll be 25 England managers in there, there'll be cricket coaches in there, there'll be politicians, prime ministers, and even presidents of the United States all sat there drinking the beer, experts on everything, and probably experts on nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you see, it's a cultural thing for us in this country. Go in, chew the fat, argue, fall out, have a few pints, come out as friends, and we're losing that now, aren't we?
We're losing it, but we're losing it all in a safe environment. So from the minute people come in, by and large, they can have these discussions. Yeah, they sometimes get a little bit heated, but not to any sort of extent. But it's safe. And I think nowadays they put it down as banter.
Yeah. That's another thing they're trying to ban as well, banter in pubs. If I say something offensive or crack a joke that might upset one of your staff, you could be in big trouble.
I could be in big trouble. I don't particularly hold back on that. Nobody is rude to the people that work with us. I don't expect that, and I wouldn't tolerate it. But by the same token, if somebody wants to be a Saracen supporter and somebody wants to be a Harlequin supporter, I don't care enough.
I remember back. Even I'm old enough to remember back in the day, you had a best side and a tap room where I come from. The tap room was for smokers, for swearers. Some chewed the odd bit of backer, and you'd have the whippets and greyhounds, a bit of sawdust on the floor. But if you was out with a lady, with the missus or whatever, you went into the best side. So it was horses for courses.
That was it. We had one. We used to call it the Yorkshire Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Yorkshire Bar,
why is that? Bar, but for all those reasons. It was just it was plain speaking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
bit of effort and blinding, a bit of tobacco, a bit of smoking,
Yeah.
and every now and again the odd window would probably go through. But we don't condone that sort of irresponsible drinking here
Not at
on
all.
GB News. But what does the future hold, do you think, Guy, for the pub industry?
I think the pub industry is on the cusp of a massive change, more so than any, certainly in the 40 years I've been involved in the pub game, it's on the cusp of a massive change. Realistically, if somebody said to me, are you prepared to do a 13-month forecast, I'd say no.
No. But I tell you what we have seen over the past 4 or 5 years is a lot of these little micro pubs setting up. One of my local pubs is a small, like micro pub, very small. It's just an old terrace house, been knocked through, they put a bar in. And that sort of gets really rammed at the weekends, that does. People, going to these smaller venues, they've probably got less overheads. They've got more control over the actual booze that they sell. So maybe that's the future, is it?
I think there's a certain amount of future in that. I'm very fortunate. I've got a freehold, so I can purchase beer for a fair amount less than somebody that's particularly tied. But even then, so the margins that even I've got in a pint of beer, it may be saved 15 to 20 pence.
Yeah.
I got an email sort of at the weekend, and it was from the brewer, the major brewer that I use, and they've put their beer prices up 16 pence.
Really?
Mm.
And then we see some of the other micro pubs there's a few in my patch actually. Well, there's one, and there's one in Mansfield next door where they actually brew the beer inside the pub. I mean, is that something you'd look to in the future?
It's something I'm interested in. I use a lot of I use two particularly local brewers to us. So we support them in that respect. Rather than really look after the big boys. So it's something I wouldn't want to do simply because it would then mean, do I want to employ somebody else specifically to brew beer? Yeah,
but there's a lot of so-called connoisseurs now of craft beers where they like to try the different craft ales, and I've tried a few and I quite like it. I weren't into it before, but there's some of the beers now we find in these like micro pubs are really nice.
That I have no doubt about. Yeah. And that's good. That's the pub game used to be, and beers used to be very regional. Yeah. Where people say that beer wouldn't travel, it's only because it might have used waters or whatever it happens to be. Yeah. So, I think there's a huge opportunity for that sort of thing. So, final question: any advice on people thinking of going into the pub trade? Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, they don't. Don't do it. No, don't do it. They'd be mad. My pub's currently it's actually on the market at the moment. And I had a lovely couple came to me in the summer, and really lovely couple. They're just retired. And I was chatting to them. They thought it would be a lovely thing to do, to have a pub, and that was a dream. Yeah, I don't think they realised how. They didn't realise how hard. And I spent a good sort of couple of hours with them. And in the end, I didn't plead with them not to buy my pub. But you're not a very good salesman, mate, are you? I'm a lousy salesman. So you've got a pub for sale, and you've talked a couple out of buying it. I have a conscience, though, mate. Great. That's Guy Richardson, pub landlord. We'll get you back on at some stage. Do not go away, because coming up next we've got right versus left, and it's going to be a fiery affair.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to your latest GB News weather update brought to you from the Met Office. A drier day to come on Saturday, but further snow and heavy rain is on the way for Sunday. Before then, though, a risk of icy stretches overnight tonight. Storm Goretti's now moving into parts of Europe, and behind that we've got cold Arctic air still in situ, and where we've seen any fallen snow, there's a risk of icy stretches as that starts to melt and then refreeze overnight across parts of Wales and the Midlands. Also, further snow showers will affect parts of Scotland. There's a risk of freezing fog overnight as well. So widely a very cold night. Another cold one. Could be down into minus double digits in the coldest spots to start Saturday. So a chilly start, but I did say it was going to be drier, and there will be more in the way of dry weather on Saturday, at least compared to Sunday. Still a few showers though moving into the west of Scotland. Some freezing fog patches could be quite stubborn to clear through the day as well across many central areas of Scotland. Clear skies though already starting to develop across the central swathe of the UK, bringing some sunshine to start the weekend. But notice those blue colours indicating where there's going to be a harsh frost to start the day. So certainly a chilly start, but some good weather to be getting out and about in. Some sunshine developing through the day quite widely. It's cloudier skies across eastern areas of England all the while, where we do have a risk of showers. Some of these sleety across more coastal areas, but for most of us we should stay dry. It's going to be another chilly day though, temperatures quite widely just 2 or 3 degrees. Now as the next batch of rain bumps into that cold air, there's a risk of some quite widespread snow for a time on Saturday night, but that will quite quickly turn to rain through the course of Sunday morning. So we could see around 10 centimetres across many northern areas, but then a risk of flooding as we head into the latter part of Sunday and into next week. It remains windy.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time for Right versus Left with the very lovely Emma Wolfe and Bill Rammell. And we've got the quiz coming up next, later, the yes or no quiz.
I never lose, Bill. I never lose.
I lost for the first time last time, so I'm determined to make good today.
But guys, this week, seriously, I was having a bit of a conflab with some Lib Dem MPs in the chamber this week during PMQs because Ed Davey was once again bleating on about international law, about Venezuela. We've seen it in the past with the Chagos Isles. We've seen it with the ECHR when we try to deport criminals from this country. Emma, I want to ask you a very basic question. Do you know anybody, friends or family or neighbours, that lies awake at night in cold sweats worrying about international law?
There's a lot of things that people are worrying about right now, mostly cost of living, immigration, even the weather. No one I know is actually banging on about international law. Can we just be clear, though, what's been happening over the past week? So a week or so, since Maduro, since Trump took out this evil, horrible, criminal dictator, and all the Jeremy Corbyns and the pearl-clutching lefties talking about international law. Can we just be really, really clear about what Maduro is responsible for? And I'm going to give you a list. Narco-terrorism, drug trafficking on a vast scale, punishment beatings, kidnappings, murders, allegedly. All of this is alleged crimes. Millions of his own people, Venezuelans, who fled the country. Food shortages, arbitrary detentions, punishments, beating, torture by his own security forces and intelligence agencies. Years of economic and humanitarian crisis. Donald Trump, active decisively, took this man peacefully, by force, to America to stand trial. And they have a problem with that. So international law only applies to Donald Trump, but they're happy for someone like Maduro, and I've just read you the allegations against him.
Let's go to our pearl-clutching lefty, Bill Rammell.
It's astonishing to me.
Bill, do you lie awake at night worrying about international law?
No, and I don't think ordinary people do.
Ordinary people. There's the key.
But they have a sense that you need a set of rules by which international affairs are governed. And that's why, for example, in respect of the American action in Venezuela, there's a poll this week, 3-1 British people oppose it. Not because they've got any time for Maduro. I think he's a scumbag, and in one sense I welcome the fact he's gone. But I think instinctively people worry that it's not legally justified and there isn't the evidence to back it up. And hold on, and it gives a precedent for the likes of China to invade Taiwan, which would not only be an abomination for people in Taiwan, but 70% of the microchips in this country are manufactured in Taiwan. International actions have consequences for all of us.
No, they don't. I cannot believe we're talking about Chinese microchips. You know what people really admire? I don't know about your poll. I think you've made that up, Bill. Did you make that up?
No, I haven't.
It's the PSV.
I looked at it before we came on this show.
People admire Trump's actions. There's a thing called process, which is what Keir Starmer does, international law, the UN condemning the actions, and then there's a thing called progress, and it's someone like Trump who goes in, yes, it's messy, yes, but he gets there in the end. Look at how he doesn't always follow the exact letter of the law, but look what he has achieved since he came to power. Look what Trump has achieved. He gets on with it. He gets on with the job. Meanwhile, we are still having reviews of this and reviews of that. No, he gets on with it.
Then why?
And it is, look at what Maduro is responsible for. Look at the suffering and the deaths of his own people. Look at how he has destroyed his own country, Venezuela, and to heck with international law.
You've had your money's worth. You've had your money's worth. But Bill, in response to what Emma's just said, yes, Trump does crack on with the job. He might not agree with everything he says or does, but he does what he's saying he's going to do. Meanwhile, back in Europe, in the UK, we have this thing called the Coalition of the Willing.
Yeah.
The willing. And I call it the Coalition of the Unwilling, because he's been in France again this week, your mate, Sir Keir Starmer. There's 2 countries out of the 39 in this so-called coalition that's agreed to put troops into Ukraine as part of a peace deal. That's not exactly willing, is it?
Well, that's a work in progress, and I think you'll see. Hold on, and I think you'll see significantly more than that. But let me come back to what Emma's saying. I respect your right, and yours, Lee, to support Donald Trump, but that is not the view of the British people. If you look at a raft of opinion polls, by about 5 to 1, the British people oppose Donald Trump because they see him for what he is. He's running effectively a gangster state that has no regard for any sense of norm, procedure or legality. And look at about his next... Hold on. You've had a good say, Emma. Let's come on to his next proposition.
You just said Trump is running a gangster state, and I've just told you that Maduro has been running a absolutely lawless narco-terrorist state for 12 years.
And I've got absolutely no time for Maduro, and in a sense I welcome the fact that he is gone. However, let's come on to Trump's... Let's come on to Trump's next proposition, invading Greenland, a democratic country.
He's just saying that. He's winding them up. He's just saying that. He's not going to do it. He's taken out...
Guys, just lower the temperature a little bit. I want to ask you a very serious question, Bill. If you was a Venezuelan, born there, lived there, got a family there, would you be happy with your president, this lunatic, being removed?
I think an opinion appears to be divided in Venezuela. I think many people...
Between who?
Well, between different factions. I think many of them will welcome it. But OK, let's follow through on what Trump's actually done. Has he actually brought in the official opposition, who I think won the last election in Venezuela? No, he hasn't. He's brought in the woman who was Maduro's deputy and appears to be propping her up. Are Venezuelans going to welcome that? I don't think they will.
OK, it's only been a few days, and yes, you know, he hasn't removed the whole regime, we know that. But what I'm talking about is Donald Trump takes action. Just compare him again to our Prime Minister Starmer, who has been saying for now 18 months, I'm going to smash the gangs, I'm going to stop the small boats, and hasn't done diddly squat. OK, one in, one out, which effectively is one out. We pay them to go, then they come back.
But
and then we take in plenty of other immigrants. But he doesn't take action.
His latest tactic, Bill, is to take the phones off the illegal migrants. These are the same illegal migrants that throw the phones in the sea. It's nonsense.
And claim to be 14 years old.
Yeah, with beards down here.
35.
For those who do keep their phones, it's right that you take them off them to get intelligence about tackling the people smugglers.
But look, Bill, that should have been done
in the real world. It's
right
complicated
from the start.
and it takes time. And the Home Secretary is bringing forward, rightly in my view, the most monumental overhaul of the immigration and migration system we've seen in a generation.
Well,
but it takes time to make the changes happen.
Keep a straight face.
Does it take time, or do you just get on with it?
No.
Donald Trump just gets on with it.
Yeah.
Starmer just sits there and pontificates about international law.
He rides roughshod over the rights and the legalities, and we've just seen
of criminals.
We've just seen yesterday a woman shot in Minneapolis, who, on the face of it, appears to have been shot illegally.
Right.
Is that the kind of action
Bill,
you want in this country?
Let's go to the yes or no quiz. I think it's time to calm down, mate. Your blood pressure is going through the roof. And, right, question number one, guys. Emma, to you. Is the coalition of the willing, which we spoke about earlier, is it fit for purpose?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
I don't know how you do it, mate. Straight face again. Bill, was Trump right to remove the Venezuelan president?
No.
Yes.
And number three, to you, Emma. Should the UK put troops in Ukraine?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
Bill, is Starmer serious about stopping the boats?
Yes.
No.
Disagreement. And last question to you, Emma. Should councils be allowed to postpone their local elections?
No.
Emma, Bill?
No.
Oh, agreement. So we've seen, just this week, Bill, actually, I think it was a few weeks back, Ed Davey was saying, Sir Ed Davey was saying that it's a breach of human rights to cancel these local elections. And hey presto, this week, one of his councils, I think it's Cheltenham Borough Council, have asked for their local elections to be delayed for 1 year.
Well, it won't be the first time the Lib Dems have been full of whatever. However, you said I keep a straight face. I actually say what I believe, and I've said it before on your show. I think the government is ill-judged and wrong to postpone democratic elections.
Emma?
Well, you use the word frit, which I love. You use the word frit. They are so frit. They are. You don't cancel elections. What are we, Venezuela? This is absolutely ludicrous. Starmer is running scared.
But he's also passing the buck as well, isn't he? It's like, it's not our fault, Gov.
Absolutely.
Somebody else take the... And of course...
And there are councils of all political persuasions requesting the elections be postponed. But I think they are wrong, and the government is wrong to allow it.
And you actually politicise local people. I know people in areas where there's a threat of the local elections being delayed or postponed.
Yeah.
People are saying, no, we want to get out there and have a vote. And people who wouldn't have bothered with local elections are really up for it now.
Quickly, guys, number three... Should the UK put troops in Ukraine? You said yes, Bill, didn't you?
Yes, but only once a peace deal has been concluded, and in order to protect that peace deal, because that's in our national interest.
It's not much of a peace deal if you've got to put troops in, is it?
No, this is not a coalition.
Well, because we don't trust Russia.
If the British people had a say in this, they would say no.
Yeah.
We have sent billions now to Ukraine. This is enough. I'm very, very sympathetic for the Ukrainian people, but this situation cannot go on. We cannot keep pouring billions abroad when we can't even look after our own people.
Then you let Russia rule the world.
Well done, guys. Bill, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Well done, Emma.
You.
5 each. It's a draw. It's clawed it back in the end, as our Bill. But coming up next, we've got former Strictly star AJ Pritchard.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean All Clear Skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's not much warmer across the Mediterranean compared to the UK at the moment, thanks to a brisk wind, which is bringing plenty of showers to Greece and Croatia during Saturday. Certainly some snow over the mountains across the southeastern corner of Europe. Some snow over the mountains of Italy as well. Further north across Italy, some sunshine, largely fine conditions for Spain and Portugal. Snow over the Pyrenees and generally sunny spells in the Canaries. That'll continue into Sunday and Monday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
That sounds a little bit like Last Orders at the Bar. And I've got former Strictly star, AJ Pritchard. Welcome to the show, AJ.
Oh, no, thank you very much.
To see you. I've been looking through your CV. Strictly Come Dancing. Yeah. You've done the Celebrity Get Me Out of Here, but it was in Wales.
Yeah.
Not counting that. And you also did this SAS programme. This
SAS Who Dares Wins.
And you tell me that
winner of the show. That's what we need on there, the winner of the show.
He doesn't like to talk about it, but it was the winner. That must have been gruelling for you.
Oh, I love them shows. They're so hard, but when you lock into it mentally and physically, you have a task at hand, and it's how do you deal with that stress of whatever it may be. Here's a gun in your hand, go into a hostage situation and work out who's a friendly and who's not. Like these extreme measures.
Well, well done for that, mate. You know, back in the day, people used to look at young lads going for dancing lessons as a bit of a, can I say this, a girly thing?
You can say what you want, go for it.
That's what they used to say. But actually, the training you do, the physicality, the mental stuff, and then you go on to win something like the SAS thing. So it just proves it's a tough gig that you're in.
I think the one thing with dancing, yes, the fake tan on the neck going into school was never a good look. The sequins aren't too bad. I'm sure we can get you a glittery shirt later. But no, when you're doing something, I think the important thing is at what level you do it at. When you are late for school because you've just represented your country in a world championship or winning the European championship, there's a different respect there, and I think that's the important thing. Like, you're confident in what you want to do because you know that you love it and you are actually doing something that is helping other people.
So what is your favourite dance? What would be your last dance?
Oh, my favourite dance, on Strictly it would be something slow where I don't have to sweat too much, but passionately, I love a Paso Doble. Like the music, the intensity, the aura, it just works, and it just feels like when you get strong, like just hit home.
Wow. I mean, I'm not. You probably know I'm not a fan of the BBC, although they're not here to defend themselves. But it still is a massive show. This Strictly on BBC. What was it that sort of? Did you get invited to go on, or did you apply to go on, or?
I literally said I'll never do TV dancing. I refused. I was like, I've been #1 in the world forever. But in my head, I was like, okay, there was an opportunity to come on.
So
it.
you're a bit of a hypocrite as well, then, are you?
Yeah. You know, sometimes I said no to it 3 times.
Yeah.
I said no, and then it came to the point I was like, somebody actually, a lady that sponsored me, passed away very last minute, and she kind of said to me, like, take every single opportunity. You don't really know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm 20 years old. I'll take the opportunity. If I don't like it, I can go back to competing. And I loved it. It was fantastic. And Strictly as a whole, the team behind it, the people that you never see, thousands of people working, they work so hard. And that's the magic that makes Strictly.
So you've done your dancing, you've done your reality TV shows. What are you doing at the moment?
Currently, I'm working within a financial investment company. It's called Fint Invest, F-I-N-T. And what we want to really focus on is bridging the education gap in the UK. So a lot of people kind of go to school and they kind of, you do maths, your English, your geography, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you leave school without the kind of real life skills. And at the end of the day, everything costs money, whatever it is, for everybody. How do you deal with it? How do you budget? But understanding that investing itself can really help you in the long term. And kind of like for us, what we want to work at Fint in the app is really kind of create an education library so we can help people understand it and be better in the future.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people these days, AJ, would struggle to save any money at all, especially people in the licensing trade, because they're really, really struggling at the moment. But we're in a pub. Do you like a drink?
Not a beer, but
what would you drink?
I'm more of a tequila, you know what I mean, sort of person.
Dear. Look, you've got a pint pot there.
But we can make it happen for you.
You've got a pint pot there, AJ. You've got the old Alpaca Lips. That's a Bradford beer, so I'm told. You've got 30 seconds to pull the perfect pint. No excuses, no faffing about.
Okay.
Just pull the handle back, please.
I am more nervous than any show I've ever done in my life.
While we're doing it, I want to... No, just crack on, mate. Crack on. No excuses in this game. Bang it on the bar. No, on the bar. That's it.
Wow. I didn't know you ordered a milkshake, whoever wants that.
Strictly, that is strictly rubbish.
If there was minus numbers, that's what I've got.
Let me ask you a question then. Past or present, living or dead, who would be your favourite 2 dance partners? Can be male or female?
I think for me it's about creating lifelong memories and Fred, Ginger, something collaborating.
Fred and Ginger? Not Fred Elliott.
No. Something like that, but also modern.
Yeah.
Pop star, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like a Zara Larsson or something that the young kids would love. One thing that's a real talent is knowing what you're good at. For example, like the Eras tour with Taylor Swift, she brought dancers from all different genres and really allowed them to be themselves and be their personality and showcase them. And she kind of did her thing around it and stuck to the vocals on that. And I really appreciate that from artists, really showcasing the dancers as people and personality, not just backing dancers. We don't know their name, we don't know who they are, they just create pretty pictures. And I appreciate that from artists.
But what about somebody like the late Michael Jackson?
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Can you do the moonwalk?
I can do the
Come on then,
moonwalk.
let's have you. Can we get this camera?
We'll get that for you.
See that?
You see that? We all saw it perfectly. Just put me over the top there.
But he was a great dancer, great singer.
Attention to detail. I think that's the thing. Like, he understood it, could visualise it and create it and recreate it in front of thousands of millions
I'm a bit
people.
of a nostalgic as well with my music, and if I don't like the dancing, the Jacko stuff, then you go back into the 60s, people like, I don't know if you know this or not, AJ, people like Jackie Wilson, Michael Jackson would have copied off people like that. Elvis as well. He was doing that.
It's the inspiration, isn't it? Like
years ago.
Most people on Elvis will have seen the modern movie and the retake and seen like how music and culture inspires the moves and the speed and the adrenaline. But I feel like yourself, what dance would you go for? If we're on Strictly right now, you've got your partner, you're ready to go.
I'll let you into a secret. Me and my mate, many years ago, we went for, we went for some dancing lessons. What's the one, the dancing Cuba? What is it? Where the
like a salsa?
A salsa, that's it.
Salsa. We went for salsa. Went for forward and close, a back and close.
Well, we went, and it didn't turn out well, if I'm honest, because my mate, he's not here to defend himself, but he kept standing on the women's toes, and the instructor, he sort of advised us it would be wise not to come again after a few lessons. He says, don't bother.
You've slightly scarred yourself for life. And,
we're full at the moment, but we'll keep your name on the list and we'll invite you back if there's any. Yeah, well, I couldn't take to it, mate. I've got no coordination.
That's why you'd be entertaining. You'd have a great journey.
The dancers I do like to watch is when they're jiving.
Yeah, speed, flicking, kicking. No, it's very good.
I think that's great. But I tell you what, mate, that pint, I would stick to the day job. It's not very good. You wou't get a job in here. Quickly, before you go, I know you deal in investments and financial stuff and all that. I want to ask you a very quick question, and I want you to answer it very quickly in plain English. What is cryptocurrency?
Well, plain English, that's the hardest question of the day. I'm going to stay away from that before I say something that my
You're on the
partners
fence.
will...
You're on the fence. So there again, I've asked somebody what cryptocurrency actually is. They cannot answer me. That's firmly on the fence there, AJ, but thanks for coming on the show. Rubbish pint, but you're a great bloke.
Thank you very much.
Last orders with AJ Pritchard. Thanks for joining me on Lee Anderson's Real World. Another great show, great guests, more of the same next week, 7 p.m. Friday, GB News.
Coming up next is Friday Night with me, Matt Goodwin. We're going to be discussing the United Arab Emirates restricting funding for their students over fears over Islamic radicalisation.